Welcome to the Mother Daughter-ish podcast. It's your mama's favorite podcast.
And the podcast your daughter always wanted.
This is Miss Dawn.
And Angelique.
From the 713. Houston, y'all. Get connected and stay connected weekly as new shows debut on Sunday, Wednesday, and please check out our Saturday Out and About showcases.
Enjoy the show. Please subscribe, like, share, comment, and tell every woman on the planet that you know about our show.
Here's our show for today. Hey ladies, this is your official invitation to join us on the Winner's Circle Cruise in January. We're going to meet in Fort Lauderdale and go through Key West. And then from Key West, we are going to go over to Bimini, Bahamas. If you have not been to the Bahamas in the last year or so, you've got to go. It is so wonderful, so lovely, so awesome. So far, we've got a good group of ladies that are already signed up. The max to go is 24, unless something wild happens, but 24 is the max. If you received the flyer from me, you know that you need to go ahead and get your deposit down. So we'll spend the first day in Fort Lauderdale getting on the cruise. It'll spend a day on the water. We'll get over to Key West, spend a day there. That'll be day 3. And then for day 4, we will be in Bimini, Bahamas, and we will spend an entire day there where we will just foo-la-la, foo-la-la, foo-la-la. And the final day, we will be back in Fort Lauderdale. I do suggest that you get to Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, the night before the cruise. I have seen people be left, so don't be one of them. Now, if you want to leave the day we get back, the cruise is going to be back. By the time you get off, it'll be 10. So if you want to book you a flight, book it after 10 or noon. You just saw the beautiful rooms that we are going to be booking. Yes, every room will have a balcony unless you declare otherwise. Now look at that water. Can you tell me you don't want to be there? Look at all those good markets. You telling me you don't want to be with the Winner's Circle? The Winner's Circle is for women owners of businesses that want to get together with other women from all over different places to be able to mastermind, to talk about our businesses, to grow, to support one another, to hear others' perspectives on how you can do things different in your business to be the best business and to grow your business. Anything that you can't talk about with other people, this is a great time. Join us on the Winner's Circle Cruise. Hey, mothers and daughters, I got another great interview for you. I have Miss Danielle all the way from San Diego, California, and I am so thankful that she is my guest today. Welcome, Miss Danielle. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so excited to be talking with you. Just our conversations offline have already been amazing. I've already told you.
We can't share that with them.
Okay. I've already told you that I'm in love with you, but yeah.
That is so awesome. Tell me the name of your business and then tell us how'd you come up with the name.
Yeah. So the name of my business is simply my name, Danielle Shea, Healing for Sexual Abuse Survivors. And I'm a healing coach for sexual abuse survivors and a lived experience expert. I help people all over the world create healthy boundaries, find their support system, and develop unwavering confidence. And how I came up with the business was, and the name was just, if it needs to change, if it needs to evolve, and if it needs to grow, I want to give it the space to do that.
Right.
My name's not going to change. So
right.
That's how we got here.
And what made you start that type of business? Because that's a very important topic that you just, said that you're helping, especially when you just said healthy boundaries. It's like, oh man, that's in every area of our life. What made you decide to go for that type of business? Because that's a very important topic.
Yeah. I didn't do it on purpose. I think a lot of the best things in life just come at you when you're least expecting them, or when you're not kind of searching for them. And that was something that we kind of talked about off camera as well.
Yeah.
And, I was looking at, I had closed my first business in 2020, which was very different. And I was looking at just something else that I wanted to do. I realized I had created a job for myself. I realized I had created a business that didn't light my soul on fire. It was just like, what am I doing this for? And then when the world shut down in 2020, I looked at all the ways that I could pivot.
Yes.
And was like, no, I'm just going to keep putting myself in a box I don't want to be in. So I decided to close it and was taking some courses, doing different things. and I took this speaker training course with a bunch of incredible women.
Mm-hmm.
And it just hit me. I got this download that said it's time to tell your story. And Don, I got to tell you, my first reaction was, hell no. We're not doing that. We are
Yeah,
not doing that.
immediately no.
Immediately no. And I sat with that fear. I sat with that anxiety. I sat with all of that and went, actually, yeah, this is what I need to be doing. And so I spent the first year of my business getting a bunch of certificates and being a trauma informed coach and, making sure that I had the credentials to be able to do this work besides the fact that I've lived this work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then started putting out that content and that information out into the world. And here we are 2 years later.
Wow. So, most of the, is it for mostly women?
No,
No,
100% of
kidding.
my clients last year were male, actually.
Wow.
So I help both male and female survivors. This year it's trending more female.
Yeah.
But it just kind of changes and fluctuates. It depends on, I think, how the content that they find me in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you get started with a client, are there some steps that you have to take them through because they may be going through that same thing you said, immediately no.
No. Yeah. So for a lot of my clients, the way that they kind of find me is either through my Empowered Healing Toolkit,
Okay.
um, which is a free resource that I have, and that's available for people as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's strategies that take people through, like, what are the first things that you need to do?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the first things that you need to do is start asking for help, because you cannot, nor should you, deal with this type of trauma by yourself.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and one of the very first things that we want to do as survivors is to isolate, self
Right.
isolate.
Right.
And so really trying to get yourself out of that box and moving forward, because as human beings, we're social creatures. We need community to be able to heal, not feel like that we're alone, and feel like that there's hope, to
That's so
that
true.
there's a purpose in healing.
That's so true. Now, do you find that sometimes when people come to you, they feel like they are all alone? Like there's literally no one
Yeah.
else that has gone through what I've gone through. I must be out here by myself dealing with this.
I'm often the first person that many of my clients have ever told their story to. And that's
Really?
because they finally go and they're like, oh, wait,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
you are actively talking about this?
Yeah.
I've never told anybody before. And then like my DMs are just filled with these heartbreaking, beautiful stories of people opening up. And like, to me, even if they don't become a client, like that's such a gift.
Yeah.
And such for myself with their vulnerability, but for them as well, to say, okay, this part is off my chest,
Right.
you know,
Right.
and there's healing in that as well. And when we tell our story over and over and over again, there is that numbing that happens, and that's not what we're going for.
No.
Being able to air that out and let someone else hear you definitely makes you feel less alone. Yeah.
Now let me ask you in a positive way, how did the Me Too movement impact your business?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm definitely way after the Me Too movement, like
Right.
really kind of caught fire.
Right.
Um,
But
I mean,
I think that that movement gave so many people the power to even want to talk about.
I couldn't have this business if it wasn't for the Me Too movement. People
Got it.
wouldn't be willing to have the conversations,
Got it.
and they wouldn't be willing to speak up and even, share their stories. But you're exactly right. It gave people the power. It gave people the ability to say, "Oh, I'm not alone. Oh, this is actually something that did affect me, and
Mm.
I was trying to bury it, but now I see that, like, it gave people like a pot to
Yeah.
put their trauma in."
Right.
And I think that helped people kind of sort through it a little bit better as well. Because when you think that you're alone, you think that you're crazy,
Yeah.
you think that there's no help and hope for you. But
Yeah.
the second you see, oh, someone else has done this, it makes you go, well, maybe then I can do it too.
Right. What would be some of the, I would say maybe two or three tools or actions that someone who is dealing with trauma, other than the start talking about it with someone so that you can at
Yeah.
least get it out outside of you instead of burying it down in you? What would be some things that you would tell someone who needs to start to heal? Because I don't think people get over things, like people just say,
No,
oh,
no,
get
no,
over it.
no.
But what are some things that you can tell people to help them to start to heal from these traumatic experiences they've had?
Yeah. So talking to people is important. And I just want to touch on that a little bit. You don't
Yes.
have to.
Yeah.
You don't have to. If you're not ready,
Yeah.
fine. Put it to the side.
Yeah.
So the first question I always ask people is, what feels accessible to you right now?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't,
Meeting them where they are, basically. I like it. I
and
like
meet
it.
yourself where you are. I think
Yes.
sometimes we think, oh, well, I need to go meditate, or I need to go like on this like exploration
Like
and
some
find
other thing is
myself.
gonna save you when you really
Yeah.
need to save yourself.
Sometimes you need to check in with your body and be like, do I need to pee right now?
Right. Right.
Do that.
That you're saying that, and somebody hears that and probably think that's funny, but literally I had that conversation with myself yesterday. Like, I was working all day, and just, you know how sometimes you're having fun with what you're doing, and time
Yeah,
just
you get in the
slipped,
zone.
like, oh, do I need to go drink some water? Wait a minute, I didn't pee today.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
It's the
And
craziest thing.
it is. And we do
When
that
you
even
get in
when
your
we're having,
zone.
yeah, you do that when you're having fun. You do that when you're in the flow. You
Yeah.
also do that when you are trying to numb and suffocate and hate yourself,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
so I think when we ask ourselves the question, what feels accessible right now, it allows us to take this just breath of like, it doesn't
Yeah.
need to be this huge thing. It can just be tuning into your body. And the very first thing for healing from sexual trauma is
Mm.
that somatic work,
Yeah.
because you can talk about it, you can verbally process it all day long,
Hmm.
but that trauma is in your body.
That's right.
So, what can you do to move through it? So, I have four things that I always tell my clients. This is the first thing that we do before we even jump into like the actual program,
Okay.
which is treat yourself as if you're a house plant with complicated emotions. So the
Mm.
only thing I want you to do this week is pay attention to your breathing. Are you actually breathing? Do you notice when you're breathing?
Hmm.
We don't even do breath work exercises. Just pay attention to it.
Right.
Go for a walk outside.
Right.
Get your body moving, like get your hips
Right.
moving, get your joints moving, just move forward. It allows the brain to kind of like settle and think in
Yeah.
forward thoughts.
Right.
Are you drinking water?
Right.
Are you
Right.
noticing when you're thirsty? Just those very small kind of somatic and body intelligence things. Like our body's always talking to us. Um,
Yes.
and then the next thing is sleep. Like, just check in. I don't even care how much you're sleeping right now. Just, are you sleeping too much? Are you sleeping too little? Like, what does that feel like? And then just noticing those things, because that self-awareness work is going to lay the foundation for all of the other trauma work that we're going to be doing. But if
Absolutely.
we don't have that foundation, the rest of it's just kind of sparkles, and
Yeah.
you didn't
Wow.
clean up, you just have dirt with sparkles on it. Like, that's not fun.
Exactly. Exactly. So let me ask you this. Where's your business going? Let's just say in the next 3 to 5 years. Where do you see your business going? Because I feel like it's very important work.
Yeah. So I really, really am looking forward at looking at next year and the year after doing in-person retreats. So
Ooh, yes.
my business is fully online. And I love that. It gives people a lot of accessibility to me. I get to work with people all over the world. I'm based in California, but because I take this as from a life coaching perspective,
Hmm.
I don't have certain areas that I have to stay to. So
Right.
I have
Right.
clients from India and England and like all over the place.
Yeah.
Um, but again, we heal in community. And I find that we often are able to have more sustainable
Hmm.
healing. We're able
Hmm.
to get together and like really feel and see the work happening in front of us.
Hmm.
And then just that connection, right? So retreats have been on my heart and on my team's heart, and it's something that we brought up in our annual meeting this year. And it's not where we're at right now, but it's where we're going.
Right, right, right. Well, you got to know where you're going, because everything that you're doing right now is building up to that particular retreat that you may do in the next year or two. So that's really awesome. Now,
Yeah.
if you were to plan today and you say, okay, we have a date, we have a location, where would that first location be for your retreat?
You already know the answer to this. It would be in Costa Rica.
Let me tell you, they have some of the most beautiful retreat centers, and I've
Yeah.
done some interesting retreats in Costa Rica. And
It's just such a
they have,
healing place.
it
Like the first
is.
time I went to Costa Rica, I was like, oh, my soul lives here. And that's why I'm going back this year, but
Yeah,
also
yeah,
just a place I feel like that can get you excited and hopeful about life. Because
yeah.
many of the people that I have worked with, myself included, have contemplated not being here anymore and
That's
just,
right. That's
taking
right.
our own lives because of the experiences that we've been through.
Right.
And a big reason for that is that we kind of touched on this before of like, what's the point of healing? And I'm a garbage human being. I must be, because
Yeah.
that's why this happened to me. And that's why it keeps happening to me, because sexual
That's
trauma is also not something that is usually a one-time situation.
right. Right.
And so giving people like oh my gosh, look how beautiful it is here. What else is possible, and kind of getting people out of that mindset. I live in San Diego right now. That would be another beautiful place to have retreats as well, because
Absolutely. It's
it's just
beautiful there.
gorgeous. Yeah.
Yeah. And in California, y'all have so many beautiful places that you can go that are surrounding there. You've got the mountains and like
Yeah.
Houston, we're very flat here. So for me to get a mountain, not even a mountain, but a hill country, I got to go up to Austin or something like that, which is only
Yeah.
2 hours from me. And I do that on a weekend, but California does have so many beautiful places
The
to
beach and the mountains
the
and
beach
the
and the mountains.
desert all in one day. Yeah.
Absolutely, all in one day. Wow, this has been very exciting. Any upcoming books that you're going to be writing? Is that on the plan as well?
Yeah, I'm constantly writing something.
Okay.
So one of the things that I also am looking at doing this year is getting into college speaking.
Okay.
My assault happened on a college campus, and so getting out into those communities to teach things like meditation and mindfulness,
I love it.
consent culture, and then how to heal from sexual trauma. And so one of the books that I'm working on right now, it's called Where Are Your Feet? And
Uh-huh.
it's basically a uh, guide of how to be mindful when you're in college and dealing with trauma.
Hmm.
And it's a question I ask myself all the time. If I'm feeling like anxious or overwhelmed, I'm just like, where are your feet?
Right.
Put my feet on the ground, start doing the work that I need to be doing. But all the stuff that I wish I would have known in high school and then in college, especially with all that stress of schoolwork, but then you
Right.
have trauma on top of it.
Right.
And how do you survive it?
Well, we
So
definitely have
that's
to talk
something I'm
offline
working on.
because I do have a formula for you that you can get into speaking into colleges.
Perfect. Love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I have a formula for that. I used to go to all kinds of retreats and things, and one of the retreats that I went to, it was all about how to speak in colleges. After I gone through all of that, I realized that my role, because I teach 3 courses right now at one of the colleges near me, but my role is teaching adults that are the older adults that are in college. And I teach a specific, continuing education type of thing. But when it comes to the college speaking, I'm telling you, they have the budget for it and they have
Yeah.
the need for it. And I'm telling you, the topic that you're talking about, every single college could use the topic simply because of the stats and the numbers. And we don't even have to go into it. We already know that
We
these
already know.
things
Yeah.
happen on colleges with young men and young women.
Yep. Yep. And
Absolutely.
then being able to, there's different things that men deal with than women deal with when they're coming to this
Absolutely.
type of trauma. And I'm so privileged that I get to work with men. It was not what I sought out doing.
Right.
I just they just happened to come to me, and I was like, hell yeah, bud, like let's go.
Yeah.
Um,
Like
and
bring it
so
on, huh?
bring it on, let's do it. Um, and just the amount of healing and self-awareness work, and also just the differences, because they where sexual trauma is the taboo of the taboo,
Yeah.
male sexual trauma is like taboo, 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 taboo.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
no one's talking about it.
Oh. Well, you have been such a delight, Danielle. I really appreciate it. Do you want to leave any parting words with our mothers and daughters for today?
Yeah, just want to say, everyone, no matter what you're going through, right,
Yep.
trauma is universal.
Yep.
So at this point, it's what are you going to do about it? And so ask yourself what feels accessible to you. Know that I believe you, I support you, I am you, and that healing is possible.
Oh, I love that, baby. I love that. We have definitely got to keep in touch because I love your spirit. And thank you so much for being on the Mother Daughter Is show today. And hey, for our listeners, if you want to reach out to Danielle or if she has a service that she can provide to you, in the description bar will be her website, her social media links, and a way for you to get in contact with her. And then maybe you can also be at one of her upcoming retreats in the future. Thank you, Danielle. Have a great day.
Thank you, Dawn.
All right, mothers and daughters, bye for now. Hey ladies, this is your official invitation to join us on the Winner's Circle Cruise in January. We're going to meet in Fort Lauderdale and go through Key West. And then from Key West, we are going to go over to Bimini, Bahamas. If you have not been to the Bahamas in the last year or so, you've got to go. It is so wonderful, so lovely, so awesome. So far, we've got a good group of ladies that are already signed up. The max to go is 24, unless something wild happens, but 24 is the max. If you received the flyer from me, you know that you need to go ahead and get your deposit down. So we'll spend the first day in Fort Lauderdale getting on the cruise. It'll spend a day on the water. We'll get over to Key West, spend a day there. That'll be day 3. And then for day 4, we will be in Bimini, Bahamas, and we will spend an entire day there where we will just foo-la-la, foo-la-la, foo-la-la. And the final day, we will be back in Fort Lauderdale. I do suggest that you get to Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, the night before the cruise. I have seen people be left, so don't be one of them. Now, if you want to leave the day we get back, the cruise is going to be back. By the time you get off, it'll be 10. So if you want to book you a flight, book it after 10 or noon. You just saw the beautiful rooms that we are going to be booking. Yes, every room will have a balcony unless you declare otherwise. Now look at that water. Can you tell me you don't want to be there? Look at all of those good markets. You telling me you don't want to be with the Winner's Circle? The Winner's Circle is for women owners of businesses that want to get together with other women from all over different places to be able to mastermind, to talk about our businesses, to grow, to support one another, to hear others' perspectives on how you can do things different in your business to be the best business and to grow your business. Anything that you can't talk about with other people, this is a great time. Join us on the Winner's Circle Cruise.